No, I'm not the economic ninja. I'm the real estate ninja. I always screw that up. Somebody told me, like, you just got to wear like different colored bands on your hand. And I don't know what'll work. I'm the real estate ninja. We're going to talk about foreclosures ticking up. Remember, I told you last year that you're going to see the real big push of foreclosures hitting the market in June. That has to deal with Dodd-Frank and the changing of regulations of how long it takes a bank to move through the forbearance and the foreclosure process, all right? But right now, they're starting to tick up, and we're going to talk about that. Again, out of Fox Business, it's entitled, Home Foreclosures See a Notable Increase Amid Ongoing Cost of Living Crisis. Now, just so you know, let's see, on my real estate tour, I'm going to start going more around the country here in the next couple of months. But in Carson City, Nevada, I'm starting to see an uptick in foreclosures. I'm also seeing in Reno, Nevada, an uptick in foreclosures. Companies are starting to advertise them more. So, and they're already at REO status, meaning that the bank purchased them from the auction and they're selling them. I actually went to go bid on one with extensive water damage the other day. There's deals to be made today in this market as long as the velocity of real estate transactions happens. And let me explain that. Market's going down, right? As interest rates go up, home prices eventually come down. Now, home prices lag interest rate rises because humans are eternally optimistic and they do not understand the implications, the longer down the road implications, right? Like, oh, higher interest rates are going to stunt the growth of the economy. It's going to hurt people. There's some people going to get laid off. They're going to have less money. And then ultimately home prices crash down. But you could still flip homes, or you could still buy and rent homes if you get the price right. All right. The other day I saw an opportunity and I struck, because there are opportunities out there, but by and large, you want the mass amount of your money and the leverage of your money going into the market when it's super depressed, right? Like the 2009, 2010, but there were deals to be made in 2008, 2007 because of the panic mindset of some of the sellers, right? Like I said the other day, I easily stripped away 20% off of the asking price of a home. Well, why not? If I can rent it to a good family that has a good job, why wouldn't I do it? I'm always growing, but the bulk of my money is set aside waiting for an epic move, a downturn. But I've still got to build my corporations, my LLCs. I've got a lot of work to do, okay? Sorry, it's sort of a long-winded thing, but I want people to understand that there are deals to be made today. They're going to be even better deals tomorrow. But if you're not practicing right now and you don't have those slides in your memory, you're not going to be good at buying and selling real estate, okay? So, and trust me, the reason why I know this is because, I'll give you an example. You can't identify a good real estate deal unless you've looked at 100 deals. Because what happens is they all start to look the same until one comes along that was mispriced because the agent didn't advise their clients right, or a panic situation, or let's say a devastating situation in someone's family like a divorce, which causes total emotional breakdown and bad decision making. So you can't identify those opportunities unless you're looking at 100 deals or you're actively buying and selling property. People don't get that. I teach that to my clients, my students as well. All right, here we go. Check this out. So again, home foreclosures see a notable increase amid ongoing cost of living crisis. It says home foreclosures saw a notable increase in January as Americans continue to grapple with the ongoing cost of living crisis. That is according to a new report published by real estate data provider Adam, which found that lenders repossessed 3,954 U.S. properties in January, which is a 13% increase from the previous month. It marked the first monthly increase in completed foreclosures since July of 2023. Now, why is July an important time point? It's because we saw around that point mortgage rates really take off from last, let's say March till about September. We saw interest rates take off and we saw a lot of people give up. But then we saw that interest rate come down when the Fed, did some little tricky stuff, saying they're going to pencil in some drops in the interest rate, things like that. And the bond market came back down a little bit to reality, like a little bit of the fear deflated, right? Now, before I go on with this story, I'm just going to say, and I haven't read this before, you guys know how I do my videos. We're still like looking, probably, if I had to guess right now, we're at like 2019 foreclosure numbers. So we're still ultra low. Why? Because the Dodd-Frank process is still rolling through. And there are a lot of banks taking hits, and that's why they need liquidity, because there are so many people that aren't current on their mortgages. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. You're going to find out. It's going to be in the news a handful of months from now, okay? I'm just showing you this ahead of time because it's good to know this information so that when you see it happen, you go, oh, you know what? Ninja showed me about this. Okay, it gives me a little bit more confidence to make that next move in my my endeavors to take over some of these foreclosures. Foreclosures are up just 1% from the same time a year ago. So it shows you right there. We're still, it's a notable increase, and these are the things you want to watch, but we're still nowhere near the 2018, 2019 levels, okay? When we hit that number, I want to remind you or tell you, we are going to blow past it, okay? And it'll seem like it happened overnight, but it really didn't. It goes on to say, we observed a slight uptick in foreclosure filings, which may be partially attributed to the typical post-holiday progression of filings through the legal system, said Atom CEO Rob Barber. However, other external factors may be at play, such as escalating interest rates, inflation, employment shifts, put unemployment in that category, and other market dynamics. The report also indicated there were 37,679 properties with foreclosure filings, which includes default notices, scheduled auctions, and bank repossessions. So remember, those are just time points in the foreclosure process, eventually ending up as REO properties or real estate owned. So there's these different phases, okay? So 37,000 properties are in this process right now. The report, it says here in January, which is up 10% from the previous month and up 5% from 2023, the same month in 2023. The increase was even greater in some states. In Michigan, completed foreclosures jumped 200%, while they rose 47% in Minnesota and 43% in California. Pennsylvania saw a 36% increase and Missouri a 34% increase. Although foreclosures are on the rise, they remain well below the levels recorded during the 2008 financial crisis. This is so important for you to understand, because so many people will read that line and go, oh yeah, we're nowhere near that. Okay, well, See, 2008 was the crescendo of all of this. It was the blow off top when all of your family and friends, or even some of you, type 1, if you were one of those people that were just totally caught off guard, you didn't see all the signs. Well, people like myself in 2005 and 2006 were panicking, selling everything they had, and running for the hills. I remember going to my church and saying, you need to sell your houses now if you want to take advantage of this downturn. They all thought I was nuts. But I also lived a life where I didn't tell them how many properties I had. Now I live a different type of life, because I'm like, well, people actually need to know, oh yeah, I do have a background in this, to give you a basis of understanding so that I can actually help you with the information. Now it says here, although foreclosures are on the rise, they again remain well below the 2008 crisis, but the problem could soon get worse as high home prices, mortgage rates, and property taxes bite Americans. Housing affordability is the worst it's been in decades, thanks to a spike in home prices and mortgage rates. Combined, the two have helped push the typical portion of average wages nationwide required for major home ownership expenses up to 33%. There are several reasons to blame for the affordability crisis. It says the Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate hike campaign sent mortgage rates soaring above 8% for the first time in nearly 2 decades last year. Rates have been slow to retreat, however, near 7%, as hotter than expected inflation data dashed investors' hopes for imminent rate cuts. Immediate rate cuts. The average rate for a 30-year fixed loan rose to 6.9% this week. Freddie Mac reported well above the pandemic era lows of 3%. Here's something that people won't tell you. Those 6.9% rates right now are pie in the sky. This is why. Watch this. 30-year mortgage rates. This is just a Google search. Today, the Google search is showing on average 7.9% for a 30-year fixed. This is why it's important. When they give you these numbers, these are people that are coming in with excellent credit, 20% down, and there's some other fees associated with it. My point being is that that's ideal situation, 6.9%. How many of you have type 2 if you do, or say I don't, or I do? How many of you, let's say the average home price around $500,000, have $100,000 in your bank account to put down on a home? So say I don't or I do. I'm just curious how many people can chime in right now. And when you're looking at this, I'm pretty sure the average consumer that wants to go buy a house right now does not have $100,000 in the bank. So that shows you where we're at as a society. And if they don't have that, they're not going to be able to afford those higher rates. Or maybe they have the money and they don't have a stellar track record with credit, and they're sitting there going, all right, you know, I'm in trouble. So the people that are saying I don't have money, I want to give you hope, because what people don't understand is the home market actually balances itself out, because the I don'ts are more than the I do's, and the I do's usually cannot sustain the housing market, or the ones that have money and they're smart with their money. And I'm not want to insult anybody, but we all got to call it out, right? Like, hey, at a certain point, we all wake up and go, and I have, I'm not being good with my money. I need to clean my act up, right? Well, what happens is those people that have a higher financial IQ, and that's what I want to raise, the financial IQ of the nation right now, to save the middle class, in order to save the nation. What happens is they go, this is a bad market, and the market recorrects and comes down, all right? And right now, you're just seeing a sustained length of time where it's harder to get a home, and then what happens on the flip side, that downturn gets even greater because it's better opportunity. That's what I want for you. I don't even know what to say. There's so much happening, and it's going to ramp up in March, and all these people on social media will be talking about it. It's like Grant Cardone now coming out and saying, the Fed's going to destroy the market, and CMBS is, you know, collapsing. And he's even called all of his auditors, or his, what is it? Because he's a syndicator. He's called all of his, I'm totally blanking out. He doesn't want to do any deals in New York. They're all talking like they're super intelligent. None of these people warned you 3 years ago. They feed on the knowledge and understanding of others, and then they just go pay for ads. Be careful who you listen to, because, you know, a broken clock is right twice, and all I care about is the twice. That's all I care about. That's when you're going to make the most amount of money. That's when the greatest opportunities are going to be out there. Hope you guys got something out of this. Thank you so much for watching. The Real Estate Ninja is out.